The better question is, what part of my life is basketball not involved in? I don't know, and I plan to be this way until I'm not here no more. Basketball is like that's that thing for me. You know what I mean? That just keep me going. It's like a compass. You know what I mean? Basketball let me know my direction. That's why I was telling you, we talked about it earlier. Basketball is more than a game. It's a tool for life. And so whenever I feel some type of way, it's two things that I know I can have. That's not a person. I got the Bible and the God's word, and I have basketball.
This is Sad Boy Radio.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sad Boy Radio. Today, I got a very special guest in the building. He's the host of Through the Wire, architect behind RichVision, manager of Flex, and man, you got a lot of other descriptions to your name, but go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
Yeah, man, I'm Pierre, Peeweedaplug, Andresen. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know the title myself. I'm a man of many things. I'm a podcast host, one of the best basketball podcasts in the world. I manage Flex Sinatra, one of the best rappers in the game. Definitely one of the best rappers coming out of Chicago. Newly signed Flex Sinatra. Round of applause for Flex, Def Jam. And then, yeah, I run RichVision, which is a collective of a lot of us here in Chicago. We do a lot of different things, music, production, behind the scenes, DJing. Shout out to DJ Lena Band. Shout out to Campaign Camo. Shout out to Jordan, who's a photographer. Shout out to obviously Flex, Go Hayes, J Noir. You got my brother T in here. Darian. It's 14. It's just it's so many people that's a part of our group at RichVision, but I run that as well. So we got a lot going on. But
Is Heavy But Light still with you guys?
yeah, that's Jordan. I'm sorry. Let me say that. Heavy but light. I gotta call everybody by their industry names. Heavy but light. You know, we kind of family oriented, so sometimes I'll call one of them by their real name. But yeah, heavy but light for sure.
Campaign Camo, he's your guy?
So we got two DJs, which is Campaign Camo, DJ Lena Bands, which we talked about Lena before. Yeah, shout out to Lena. And then we have producers, J Noir, Go Hayes, and I got a new guy named 14 who was on Go Hayes' project. We used to have Ju Wong. You know who Ju Wong is? He produced Push and P for Gunna. Blessing used to be. I know you know Lil Blessing. I've seen him. He was RichVision. That's family. We've done a lot. We've done a lot. And then Darian, he's an engineer. You probably don't know Darian. He really in the cut. He like a sensei. But when you hear Flex's music and the music in the catalog that made Flex, he was the man behind that. And then we got a lot of people who not necessarily, a part of it, but they're extensions. Steve-O, we rock with Steve-O a lot. OG Steve-O, I think you had him on here before. Shout out to my boy Adam, just Adam. We rock with him. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? We got a lot of love in the city, a lot of people we rock with and mess with. And I can go on and on. Shout out to all my YK people, YK Stan and Diamond and Chalo and Scudder and Remy. We rock with a lot of people. It's all love with us. You know what I'm saying? It's all love.
Yeah.
Shout out to Asar too. But say that again.
Asar?
I'm
Asar?
sorry. That's my
Asar's
boy. I
dope
rock
as
with
fuck.
Asar. He ain't RichVision, but that's my homie. You know what I'm saying?
I know you guys have been asked this a lot, but what makes somebody RichVision?
I don't want to be corny or cliche, but RichVision is like a mindset. I know people always say this ain't a brand or anything. It's a lifestyle, but it's a good person. You know what I mean? A person with integrity, a person that has that. When you break down that word, it comes together, but it's two separate words. You got rich and you got vision. So rich is plural and surplus of something, having a lot of things. So it's a bunch of us that have a lot of different visions that we want to bring together and curate something that can be positive for the city and for everybody that's trying to come up before or after us and just inspire everybody around. But to be RichVision, you got to be a solid person. You got to be an authentic, real, genuine person who has a vision and is trying to make an impact in one way or another. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to be a rapper. You don't have to be a Def Jam signed artist or anything, but you got to be somebody that's dedicated to what you're doing and willing to make the proper sacrifices and commitment to being the best of your ability and reaching your fullest potential to have a positive impact on your community or surroundings. So that's what makes a person RichVision. Now, even people that ain't directly tied to us, There's people that out there that have hit me up and said, I'm Rich Vision because I live a Rich Vision way. I think a Rich Vision way. I'm willing to make sacrifices. I'm willing to play a part. I'm willing to be a star in my role. Everybody won't be in front of the camera. You know what I'm saying? You got your man right here is helping you. He Rich Vision because he's committed to helping the program. And that's what, being a person that's Rich Vision, that's what I would say. Somebody that's committed to helping the team and helping play their part for something that's bigger than themselves.
And that's a huge part of something that you've done. And we're going to get into that, obviously, because, over the course of your life, you've had to adapt a lot, whether it be from moving from Chicago to the burbs, whether that be from playing basketball to going into media, or even, once again, rapping to managing and running the label. There's a lot of adapting you've done, and through all of those things, you've had a lot of success.
You do your homework, but okay.
Now, we're going to start off at basketball, though. It's your first true love. I would assume so, right? Because it's something you grew up doing. You tall as fuck your whole life. So, that automatically, that just puts you in that place to, be a part of that lifestyle. How did basketball allow you to create the first idea of who Pierre was?
Basketball is a key to life, and I think that's an important thing to know. And I wish a lot of people and a lot of parents would let their child know at the beginning of it, because a lot of people are trying to push for the NBA and nothing wrong with that dream chasing. But basketball for me was that key. It taught me how to face adversity. It taught me how to fight. It taught me how to grind, how to sacrifice, how to work with others. And I think that's why in today's world, even though I'm not an NBA player, I've been able to adapt. It teaches you how to adapt. You know what I mean? You might be on a team where you might be a star player. The next year, you may be on a team where you're a role player, a complimentary player. You got to learn how to be a star in your role. Everybody won't be a 30-point scorer. You know what I mean? You look at the Warriors and their dynasty. Draymond Green can't do what Steph Curry does, but those teams don't succeed without Draymond Green or Klay Thompson. Everybody plays their role. So basketball taught me that, and it allowed me to not only take it into my career and business part of my life, but in my everyday life, I know how to face tough times because I've been in games where I'm down 15 and I'm not quitting. I'm not rolling over, and we come back and we win. I also been in on the other side where we up 20 and we relax, we get ease, we get comfortable, and the team come back and beat us. So it teaches me how to win, how to lead, how to be humble, how to stay even keel. And it also taught me how to sacrifice, you know what I mean? And being a part of something and being a part of a brotherhood or something that has unity. So definitely taught me how to be a team player and how to work with others. But basketball gave a lot of different keys for my life past my playing days.
A key word that you've mentioned multiple times already, right? We're only like 5 minutes into this shit, but sacrifice.
Yes.
What do you think is one of the most important sacrifices you've had to make over the course of, not only your life, but your career?
Not being so focused on myself. When you talk about the stuff with Flex and the music, or even you talk about the Through the Wire podcast, a lot of things that people do is self. It's for self. And I'm guilty of that. I think human nature, sometimes our first experiences with things, it's all about us. But the more you grow up and the more you understand, trials and tribulation, it's bigger than us. It's so much. But, like when you first as a kid and you grow up in environments where you don't have much, you want to be rich. And you first think of it because you want nice things. But I think subconsciously, even as children, we want to be rich for things that are bigger than us. I wanted to be able to take my mom out of certain environments. I didn't want to see my mom work. I didn't want to see my pops break his back. I wanted to provide for my younger siblings. I wanted to be able to know that I could put money up for my kids and they can do everything that they wanted to do and not have to worry about money. You know what I mean? So sacrificing is that to me. It's thinking about things outside of yourself and understanding the big picture. You know what I'm saying? Understanding that, hey, I might not go out on Fridays and I may miss some things, but 5 years from now, it's going to pay off to where every day of my life will feel like a Friday night. Mondays is going to feel like Fridays because I done took Fridays off for the last 10 years. That's sacrifice to me. You know what I mean? I'm not rapping no more because I see that my brother really got it. So now instead of me rapping, we focus on you, Flex. We finna make this happen. And now we good. We up. And that makes it a situation for everybody to succeed, because that's the end goal. Now, if I wasn't sacrificing and I was still being me, I would probably pursue rapping, and it would probably took longer for all of us to be in this newfound situation. Even podcasting, there's plenty of that. That's four voices. I can't always speak. Sometimes I got to sit back and listen. That's four different minds. That's four perspectives. So logos, the way the set should be, coloring, topics, that's sacrificing. I may have to step out and let one of my co-hosts speak for 15 minutes, and I may have nothing to say. You know what I mean? One of the people I do the podcast with is my cousin Kenny. Shout out to Kenny, King of the Fourth Quarter. He's a bigger name than me. So sometimes they put him on a flyer bigger than me. I don't care, because that, you know what I mean? I'm willing to sacrifice my ego and myself, because that's going to take us where we need to be. And now that's why we're in the position that we're in. So sacrifice means a lot. And I think the world would be a better place if we all understood that sooner than later. I think we all do understand it, but a lot of us pick up on it when it's too late. And it's like a hindsight thing. Like, man, if I was willing to do that, you hear it all the time. You probably got family members who fucked around, excuse my language, fucked around in high school. And it's like, man, I shouldn't have been doing that. I should have really focused on a trade or my books or sports. I should have, but it's always a little too late. So I'm fortunate to have caught it when I needed to, from learning from everybody else's mistakes. And now I can get on a place like here and a platform like here and let that be known for people that's trying to find their way. If you sacrifice now, in the long run, you'll be good.
It's a mindset, and it's having to mature to understand, like, there's certain things in my life that I can't participate in at this moment, because sacrificing this right now is going to take me to somewhere even greater. Like you said, right? Sacrificing the fact that you quit rapping. Your mom, she sacrificed the environment that you guys were originally in. I don't know if it was much of a sacrifice, because, you've talked about the environment and how she really did it to put you in a better situation, so that you were growing up in a place where you were going to be around the influences that were going to help you succeed.
Most definitely.
How did that help shape you?
Moving?
Well, just witnessing that sacrifice from her, because I'm sure that instilled that idea, like, hey, if she's willing to uproot her life and come to a place where, it might not be the most familiar or unfamiliar, but she's putting herself in a position that she's not 100%, I would say, comfortable in, right? Because now she's alone, whereas you guys were with family before.
It's definitely a courageous thing when you look back on it. And of course, it's hindsight. When your kid is just moving, you worried about stuff that ain't even important. You worried about your new environment, the new school, making new friends. But it's definitely a courageous act. And, it teaches you, again, we go back to the word sacrifice. But for me, first and foremost, I'm not ashamed or I guess, ashamed of where I come from. So that's first and foremost. From the west side of Chicago, not the greatest community, poverty, you know what I'm saying, which I think is a misconception. A lot of times you see us, and when I mean us, minorities, we hype up where we from because we take pride in that, because a lot of times coming up, they try to shit on where we come from. So we use that and we flipped it, because that's what we do. Minorities, we take things that are demeaned or looked down upon, and we make it cool. So now you see everybody want to be from the hood. But when you really think about it, it's not something to glorify or be cool, but it's just a pride thing to say, I ain't scared of where I came from. So that's first and foremost. I'm not ashamed of where I came from. But it helped me because I got to see everything. And I think that's a big part of my life that I appreciate. And I'm thankful for my mother for being so courageous, because I experienced the hood. I experienced being around white people, being around in a situation where you're just around black people, mixed communities. For a long time, that was new to me. When we first moved to the burbs and I was in predominantly white classrooms, and I was the only black person in my class, that was a new thing for me. But that helped me in my life, you know what I mean, to give me perspective. Being around different communities. We just talked about it before these cameras was on. The city is a little bit more louder and hustle and bustle. The suburbs is a lot different. It ain't, it can be loud, but it's quiet, it's peaceful, or sometimes perceived to be peaceful. A little bit more quiet. But the older I got, the more I realized some of the things that they perceive or put out to be different, it ain't that different. Every place got its own evils and its own goods. They just sometimes take ours and try to make them a little bit more magnified. But but yeah, it helped me a lot. It helped me see and have a different perspective on different situations and kind of be able to coexist anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And it shaped me into a person. I know how to articulate myself. I know how to move. You know what I'm saying? Even when I'm in the suburbs, I still have to have a sense of where I'm at because of where I come from. You know what I mean? Coming from a certain environments where it ain't the safest, but never taking for granted where I'm at. Not ever getting too comfortable. That's a pro and a con, but I'd rather have it than to just be somewhere oblivious of where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? So it shaped me. It definitely shaped me into the man that I am. And I'm thankful for it. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Having that duality, right? It it's only a positive. The only negative that comes from that is that um I don't know if you'd classify it as that, but almost a paranoia because you're, watching everywhere that you go because of where you come from. It's something that, Mello has talked about. It's something that Sonny talked about, where being from the West Side, it instills that paranoia, but being from Chicago in general, it does that, right? It's not just one part of the city that is like that. It's where you're from in general.
Like I said, it can be a con in certain instances, but I'd rather have it than to not have it. You know what I mean? I'd rather always know that I need to be aware, always have my head on a swivel, because awareness is everything. You know what I'm saying? Awareness will keep you alive these days. You know what I mean? To be aware is to be alive is something I heard my mama say. So I receive that and I take that. So I'd rather have it than to just be oblivious, no matter where I'm at. Because that was the point that I was making about like the suburbs and the hood. Obviously, the hood has its connotations, and there are things that come with being in the hood. And then you put suburbs, and everybody just think green cut grass, everything peaceful, everything. And it can be a certain level of peace, but bad shit happen there. You'll get your ass robbed in the suburbs the same way you would get robbed in the hood. People get shot in the suburbs the same way they get shot in the hood. Stores get ran into and whatever the same way it is in the hood. So knowing that and knowing that we in a crazy time just in the world, the point is no matter where you at, where you from, being aware will put you in a better predicament.
What's one of those quips that your mom would always give to you that stuck with you?
Oh man, my mama.
Give them the background on your mom, by the way.
My mom is an amazing woman. My mom is to me kind of the epitome of a woman. My mom is a woman's woman, and I think a lot of people can relate to that because my mother is strong, my mother is wise, my mother is loving, my mother is caring, and my mother is constantly evolving. My mom isn't the same mother for me that she is for my younger sister, and to me that makes me happy. And sometimes my mom would say things, and I think she'd feel guilt behind that. Because for me, she was a little bit more tougher, but I was her first, and we was in the hood, so it had to be that way. But to see her be able to evolve and understand that she don't have to do some of the same things for me as she's doing for my little sister, she can be a little lighter. She can. That's beautiful as a child to see your parent evolve and have the growth. But my mother is my mom. I don't know. My mom is like me. It's hard to. My mom is a great cook. My mom done wrote a book. My mom. She is an ordained minister. My mind going blank too. My mama ordained minister. My mama is a motivational speaker. My mom does a lot. But at the end of the day, her main title, and I think her most proud, is that she's a mother, and she's a mother to a lot of us besides the people that she actually birthed. You know what I mean? A lot of my homies, or most of my homies, they refer to her as mother, and But yeah, that quotes though, man, bro, it's really so many. But my mom used to always tell me, don't put off what you can do today for tomorrow, because tomorrow not promised. And I'm not saying she made that up, but those are one of the things. And I was telling somebody the other day, cliche quotes, they're cliche because they're the best. It's the truth. You know what I mean? You don't know what you got till it's gone. That's so cliche, but it's cliche because it's the truth. So we can constantly repeat the things that are so real. But yeah, my mom got so many quotes, man. It's funny because when I'm at her house now and she say certain thing, I repeat and I act like her, and it just crack up my siblings and whatnot. But yeah, she's a very wise woman. But that's one that I always, because a lot of early parts of my life, I was a procrastinator. So a lot of times she had to tell me like, hey, you got homework? Yeah, I do it. Like, hey, don't put off what you can do today for tomorrow, because tomorrow ain't promised. And that kind of instilled grind and subconsciously hearing that a bunch of times. You know what I mean? So shout out to my Mama Jamie.
And just that quote, don't put off what you can do today for tomorrow because tomorrow's not promised. It's 100% true. And I was watching an interview that you did where you're talking about, people will hit you up all the time talking about, I'm going to start a podcast. And that's everybody's saying, right? Everybody always says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And they never get to it because either they're worried about the reception, they don't know how to do it, which is a huge problem, right? Because a lot of the times we want to do stuff, but we don't know the route to get there. We don't have the materials to get there. That was the position I was in for a long time where I said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And we wait, but we don't really know what we're waiting for at the end of the day. It's just kind of like we're waiting for a sign for somebody to say like, oh no, you can do it. And even when people are saying you can do it, you're like, can I really? So it's that self-doubt. You got to build that confidence and have that confidence in yourself to, what's the word? I guess chase. You got to have that confidence to chase the things that you want to do. Something that you've done, right? You've moved towards media. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit because I have a whole outline that we have not even looked at. So going back to basketball, right? It was such a huge part of your life growing up. What time of your life does the act of basketball put you in?
Genesis. Like, that's all I know. That's really all I know. And we did a lot of talking about my mom. Gotta shout out my pops, Ty, guard killer. My earliest memories, if that's what you're saying, like what time of my life? Yeah, just it's like literally that's my life, bro. That's all I do. All I do is something basketball related, whether I'm playing it, watching it, studying it, talking about it. My pops called me today and we was on the phone for an hour while I was at the barbershop just talking about basketball. We talking about NBA, college, high school basketball. My little brother is one of the top players in the state of Illinois right now. This is just a fact. Like, I got a cousin, Javon Carter, who plays for the Bulls right now. This is what
That's
we
your
do.
cousin?
Yes. I told you on the show, one of my co-hosts, Kenny, that's my cousin. Like, that's my first cousin. His mom is my dad's sister. We do a basketball show. This is all day with me. This don't, like, some people have jobs and certain things that they do or hobbies. Basketball is a part of my life. It's what I eat, sleep, and drink. And 24/7, it's on my mind. I took a vacation a year ago in San Diego, and I'm laying on a beach. I'm watching basketball. Like, just needing that fix. And so when you ask me where it take me at a point in my life, the better question is what part of my life is basketball not involved in? I don't know, and I plan to be this way until I'm not here no more. Basketball is like, that's that thing for me. You know what I mean? That just keep me going. It's like a compass. You know what I mean? Basketball let me know my direction. That's why I was telling you, we talked about it earlier. Basketball is more than a game. It's a tool for life. And so whenever I feel some type of way, it's two things that I know I can have. That's not a person. I got the Bible and the God's word, and I have basketball. Those are two things that I know. If I was on an island somewhere stuck, if I had a Bible and a basketball, it's gonna lead me to safety. It's gonna get me back to the rest of the world for sure. Because as soon as I get scared, I'm getting my Bible, and God gonna reassure me He got me where I need to be. And then basketball is just gonna. It's gonna be an attitude to guide me to where I'm at. So that's a tough question because, like I said, basketball is a part of my earliest memories, and I think that's why it's led me to be in this position that I am, to see so much success. And I'm super blessed and grateful, and I'm appreciative to my pops for instilling basketball in me and introducing that to me, because I honestly don't know where I would be in my life without basketball, if I'm being 100% honest with you. And I love that I could be an example of I can speak like this about a game like basketball, and I'm not even a player. I'm not. You're used to hearing these type of answers, or this type of expression for somebody that played in the league for 17 years, made $1 million. That ain't me. I didn't. You know what I'm saying? I never been drafted. I never played in the league, anything like that. But basketball is still this much a part of my life.
It's when you love something that much that it can just be ingrained in you. It's like me and music, bro. I love music so much that I started a music podcast. Originally, I wanted to be a singer. And I wanted to be a producer.
Damn, I ain't know that. Yeah. That boy got vocals.
I wanted to do everything music related, and that just wasn't in the cards for me, right? So what do? You adapt, and you find a way to be a part of something that you love so much because it just it fills you with that fulfillment.
Yeah, makes you whole.
For you in your song Heavily Flawed, you say you won't see a blemish or a gimmick. I'm real, I'm authentic. Can't do it unless my heart in it.
That's real.
That holds true for everything that you do, bro. You got, like you say, you got 4 different ways to make income, and all of them you love to do, bro.
That's been a key and a secret to me that ain't really a secret. Is like anything that I'm interested in, first and foremost, I educate myself about it. I'm a self-educated person because, you know, I think that's what education is. We go to school and we need school, but when you think about the elements of school, it's like they teach us a lot of shit that we might not have interest in. But like true education is knowing like you like music, so you became a student. You look deep because a true student even knows that you can do what you can do outside of being an artist. If a person who's not a student thinks the only way I can be involved in music is to be the artist, a student knows, I could be a manager, I could be a producer, I could be a videographer, a photographer, I can run a studio, I can run a label, I could be an exec. There's 1,000 things you can do, but you don't know that unless you're a student. So in my life, anything that I have a passion or interest in, I educate myself about it. And once I educate myself about it, I find a way to monetize it. It's 2023. If you have an interest and you don't monetize it, what the fuck are you doing? So the rest of the world, they still don't want to accept that. So I'm gonna just keep doing what I do. I'm solidified in sports. I'm solidified in music. And once I keep getting solidified more in music, you're gonna see me pull out my third thing. I'm gonna write a book, a TV show, movie. T, we want to start a wine. We want some cigars.
Wine.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what we do. We do fly shit. That's me and my boy T, all of us really, but we into fly shit. We into Rolexes, Porsches, wine, top shelf tequila. You know what I'm saying? Like we like the finer things of life. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's what it's about for me. So I am real. I am authentic. There is no gimmick. I've never been afraid to be who I am. I hang around some guys that are really get into some shit that are really, but I'm not like that. You know what I'm saying? I know who I'm with, but I would never walk in a room and flex because I know who the people behind me is. No, I'm still goofy, silly P. I'm gonna stand on my shit and on my principle, but you know, I'm always been true to who I am, and that's why I'm with the people that I'm with because they know I'm really me, and I never tried to be something that I'm not. You know what I mean? I don't have no tattoo. Everybody getting tattoos. I don't have no tattoos. You know what I'm saying? I do whatever the fuck I want to do. Everybody was you know, popping pills and doing shit. I never popped a pill a day of my life. That's not me. That's not who I truly am. You know what I'm saying? When I rap, you don't hear me talking about pulling out a gun and shooting. I did that before, and that's why I stopped rapping because I couldn't find myself. But even now, when I occasionally rap, you don't hear me talking about a bunch of shit that I don't do. Imagine if I was on them songs that go, hey, it's talking about shoot a nigga up, bop, 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 and then I come and do this interview with you and look at me. I don't look like I'm not here to hurt anybody. That wouldn't add up. But when you listen to some of the music or you listen to the podcast or you see me, you saw me at Go Hey Shit. I'm the same dude that you see on Instagram or that you see, you know, when you're talking to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I never want to be a person who I'm portraying one thing on social media or in music or wherever, and then you meet me and I'm a whole different motherfucker. Like, nah, I'm really me.
Where do you think that thinking came from?
Oh, definitely my mama. 100%. My mom and my dad. My dad always told me, like, don't sugarcoat shit. You know what I'm saying? My pops, I heard my pops say that 1,000 times in his life. Like, people always gonna know where they stand with me. I'm me. You either gonna love me or you gonna hate me. There's no in between with me. I heard my pops say that 1,000 times. And that was something that I admired. You know what I'm saying? And my mom, I ain't never heard her say that, but the way she lives her life embodies the same way and reflects that same type of thing and mentality. So that's me. Why would I ever want to, you know, conform to a room? You know what I'm saying? And that was even a part of moving. You know what I'm saying? I am from the hood. I am from the west side of Chicago. When I moved to the burbs and I went to the classrooms in predominantly white situations, then I'm gonna change the way I talk now because I'm in a room full of, you know what I'm saying, a different race. Nah, I'm still me. I'm still doing me. You know what I'm saying? Even being from the hood. Just because I'm from the hood, that don't mean that they can look at me and depict me or know me. You know what I mean? I'm not a statistic. I'm not a stat. I'm not a fucking guinea pig who America can say he's from the hood. Look at him. You can't look at me and know anything about me. You got to really know me.
You in general, man, you got so much to you that all this research I fucking did, I still couldn't even write an outline properly because I'm like, bro, you got for those two passions you have, they were taking place at the same time while you were growing up. Then there's a point where you stop them, and there's kind of like, I feel like there's a dark period right there where nobody really knows, because then you come back with Through the Wire and RichVision once Flex comes back. I know obviously you guys were a group before, but he goes to college, you stay behind, you're not playing basketball, you're not rapping. What was going on during that time?
That was one of the tougher times of my life. And that's where I learned to stop comparing myself, because what happened was a lot of people I went to school with, a lot of friends, they went off to college doing certain things, and here I am, I'm not. And I kind of felt like I was lacking, or I was behind, or I needed to catch up, you know what I'm saying? And that boy was I was wrong as hell, you know what I'm saying? Because now a lot of those people that I probably was looking at like, man, they way ahead of me. Now they probably look at me like, shit, I wish I could, you know what I'm saying? I just got off a tour. I'm doing shit that people would never do in their life. You know, Flex just signed a Def Jam. Like, there's people who put their whole life into being signed to something so prestigious. You know, just to be signed. They go a whole life without ever accomplishing that. And we've done it. You know what I mean? Like, these are big deals. And I'm saying it now, not so you can get it or the audience can get it, but like sometimes it's hard for me to grasp. And I have to say it out loud to myself to be like, dog, y'all signed the fucking Def Jam. Like, this is some shit people dream about.
You don't realize the magnitude of it.
No.
Even for me, interviewing all these people who are doing this shit. 2 years ago, that was shit I was hoping to do. I was dreaming of doing that shit, right?
Exactly.
I want to have a Def Jam artist on my shit.
Right.
I want to fucking interview, man, like, we interviewed D-Lo, and that was the biggest thing for me at the time.
Yeah.
And to think, like, how far it's come and to see it, when I go home at the end of the day, everybody I talk to, they don't give a fuck about that shit because they don't know it. So it makes me feel like I'm not there, but then I come to the studio and everybody's like, oh, who you got today? I'm like, oh, I got this person. They're like, what? That shit feels good. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
But go on, my bad, bro.
Oh, no, you good. But yeah, that was just a time where I was figuring it out and figuring out how I knew what I wanted to do, but that was me figuring out how to do it. So that was around a time where I came to the realization and I hit Flex up and I told him, you know what, I'm going to manage you, bro. This don't make no sense for us to be brothers chasing the same thing, but kind of like we was doing it together, but it's like, the plan was this was my original plan. I'm gonna take my shit and I'm gonna put it on pause. Flex, we were rapping together. Flex was finding himself and his identity as a rapper, and me being a student, like I said before, I was able to notice, oh, he finding himself. I'm still figuring out me, because again, I was rapping about shit I had no business to rap about, because I was still very influenced by who I was listening to. You know what I'm saying? And the drill movement made me very insecure about my rapping perspective. It made me feel like I had to, in order to be heard, I had to rap like this or channel that. Flex was figuring it out. So I took some time. I thought about it. Rest in peace to ASAP Yams. ASAP Yams passed away. When he passed away, it made me, I'm like, I hate to even say it this way, but when ASAP Yams passed, it had a big impact on rap. I saw a lot of people being affected by it. And I'm like, I thought this was just ASAP Rocky, like homies. Like why is all these people reacting to, why all these people like writing all this sad shit? And of course it's sad that he passed, but like people are writing paragraphs and showing pictures. He was doing shit behind the music and behind the scenes of music. So I'm like, man, maybe that's what the fuck I need to do, because I always had the ear for music. I always was the one putting my peers on to shit before it popped. You know, the first time my friends heard of J. Cole, Kendrick, Big Sean, Big Crit, all of these people, it was because of me, The Weeknd, on it early. So that gave me a sense of, okay, I know what I can do. I do like rapping. Flex is finding itself. Instead of us paying for 2 different sessions, 2 different videos, let me take my resources, put it into him, and we can just, 2 is always better than 1. And then I'm thinking, let's get you going, get you popping. Flex gets signed, and then he can put me on. Then I can focus on my rapping. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a lot easier. We'll be at a major label. We'll have all the resources, and it won't be nothing for me to pick up my pen. I'll never forget how to rap. That was the initial plan. The plan took a little bit longer than I thought. We was on a 10-year journey. I thought that shit was going to be 2 or 3 years. You know what I'm saying? We 19. 18. I'm thinking by the time we 21, 22, we'll be young. Probably was even more delusional. I probably thought that shit was gonna happen in 8 months, but that was the initial plan. And yeah, I was just figuring things out. My older brother, me and him started linking up, and we started living together and just having a bunch of fun. And that helped me out a lot. You know what I'm saying? I started experiencing things, and we were going to Miami and just doing it big and having a ball, and that took some pressure off of me. And I came back down and formulated my plan and started making shit happen.
Because you really do think it's about to happen in 2-3 years.
Yeah,
ideally, your plan is, oh, this shit's gonna blow up.
Yep.
And then when you're 2-3 years in, it's almost like, well, I can't give up. Nah, I got to keep riding it out.
You ever seen the meme with a dude hammering some dirt, and he stops, and right when he stops, he's like a one hammer away from the diamond, and they have another picture above him of the dude that keep hitting it, and he finds a diamond. But the other dude, if he kept going a little bit more, he would have found the diamond that he was looking for, but he turned around prematurely. That's exactly what popped in my brain when you said it. Yeah, once you establish 2 years, 3 years into something, you're a damn fool if you quit. You was a damn fool.
I think about that shit every time, and it's not like I genuinely think of, oh, I'm done. Like I don't want to do this shit anymore. But there's days where it's like it's harder than the others, right? Because you're just tired. You're working all the time, like you said, right? You eat, sleep, breathe basketball.
Yep.
I don't know if you even get tired of it because the way you talk about it.
No, I definitely don't get tired of it.
But for me, I think because I love the psychology aspect, I love the music aspect, but sometimes one is getting more than the other. So when that happens, it's like, oh, fuck. All the work that's going in behind the scenes, it's draining, especially when you got to do it by yourself. I think I don't want to discredit what you do, right? But you got 3 other people to lean on if you really want to. I got my producer, but he don't edit my shit. He does the mixing for the audio. God bless him, because I cannot do that shit. But you know what I'm saying? When you're picking up everything, that's when it gets tiring. But you can't quit, because if you quit, you're doing a disservice to yourself. Now you're falling back on your backup plan, which you didn't want to do in the first place. You only did it because you had to.
Something that I tell people a lot, especially coming off a year like this year, 2023 so far is probably the most success I've had in a year in my career or my life so far, because a lot more success is coming. The one thing that I'm learning, Flex getting the Def Jam deal, the podcast stuff, all of that success, all the deals that came with that. The most significant thing is the journey in itself. So much times we sat out on something, we have an aspiration to accomplish something or a goal, and it's like, I'm starting a fitness journey. I'm finna lose 25 pounds, I'm gonna get a 6-pack, and your mind is just glued on that. It's like the goal. But what happened when you reach that goal, you realize what was more important than the goal, the 6-pack, whatever, was all the shit that you learned in between on the journey. And that's what I'm starting to realize. And it clicked off to me. Like, that's why the most successful people that we think of and the shit that in our culture, they're so dominant, because once you understand that, nothing can fucking stop you. The moment the podcast took off and got where, Warner Media, TNT, when we was in the building, we signed I don't even know, a multi-billion-dollar company. When you in those rooms, in that environment, you look around like, man, what the fuck can I do? So when I had to go back and do the shit with Flex, I'm not sweating no hard time. Yeah, we down right now, but I already know what come with it, because I just did this other journey that said, yeah, it's going to be lows, it's going to be highs, it's going to be tough days, easy days, great moments, down moments. But that's a part of it. There ain't no journey that's like this. I don't give a fuck what nobody talking about. And it damn sure ain't no journey that's like this. Every journey is like, what do they call that when you're in the hospital?
The pulse?
That's like life. It's just journeys, peaks, valleys. So the journey is the most important thing. And me knowing that now, I'm telling you, bro, I feel like it's nothing I can't do. That's why I was just saying, we got so much more we gonna tap into as far as RichVision. People ain't really seen shit yet. It's a pace. And you know what I mean? We working on God time. God, he'll put the time in when it's time to really venture off. But we got so much, because me being at the head of it, I know it ain't nothing we can't do.
Mhm.
We already showed it to ourselves. And when I learned that, I'm like, oh, that's why Jay-Z can be a successful rapper, a successful label head, a successful with business like Tidal and alcohol and clothing lines. Because once he did one, he had the confidence and the wherewithal to say, oh, I can do anything. LeBron James, he ain't just a successful basketball player. He's a successful basketball player. He got a successful shoe line, clothing, business. He got shit that we don't even know about probably. Money adding in this, but his name ain't on it. But you know what I'm saying? But like once you do one thing, the floodgates open. And that's why it's like, oh, that's why these big figures that we know in our culture, they dominate because that's like the hidden secret. Everybody else focusing on like when you get $1 million. When you get the $1 million, that's cool. But the shit that you learn in between time, oh man, that's way more valuable.
That's crazy to think about it like that, because I didn't even think about it like that.
No, for
I've
sure.
used this analogy a lot of the times. It's the million view reel, right? Everybody's so focused on getting that million. And when you get that million, ain't shit changed. Nothing about my life changed.
Nothing.
But what happened was now I have more credibility. And what am I going to do with that knowledge that I gained from getting that million view reel? I'm going to redo that shit, right? I'm going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And eventually it'll take us somewhere even bigger that will change our lives.
And so now when you do another reel and it don't get $1 million, you ain't losing sleep.
No.
The fuck?
Because
that ain't nothing.
Yeah.
It's a part of it. I know it's a part of it now.
And that's what I tell a lot of people, especially when all that shit did pop off. It was, I appreciate it right now because I know today it's not guaranteed. Every day can't be a win. Not everything you do can be a win. It sucks when it's not. It hurts because it's like, damn, like I thought that was going to do better. But what do? You bounce back and you keep doing exactly what you've been doing because obviously the results are there. You just got to keep on doing it. And somebody will see that shit.
Somebody will, yeah.
During that dark period, what did you do to reinvent yourself?
I don't even want to say I reinvented myself because I felt at that time you talked to me, I would have felt like I didn't invent myself. But that's what we talk about sacrifice. I sacrificed the instant gratification of doing things like going to college where people are like, oh man, that's good to hear. You know what I'm saying? Or man, you're doing something positive. I sacrificed that and I got down to the nitty gritty of what I wanted to do and I simplified it. Everything in my life, I simplified to the simplest form. And that's what make it easy. Somebody was asking me, I had a business meeting a couple of weeks ago and they was asking me, how do I balance my podcast with my 4 people and my solo work? And I told them I don't balance it. You know what I mean? Like I don't, the minute I try to structure it and put it in the calendar and get organized in that type of way, it feels like work and it get overwhelming because like, oh, I got to do this day, I got to do that. Mm-hmm. But when I just say, hey man, I'm chilling. I'm going to do this shit how I do it. I'm just going to do it. It just kind of flow for me. Some people, they have to put it in the calendar. They have to know I have to do this Monday. I have to do that Tuesday and Wednesday. But for me, it's just like, that's the part of it not feeling like work. I'm doing what I love. I'm talking about basketball. Why do I have to really make this deeper than what it is? The simple thing is I watch basketball and I talk about it. Whether I'm talking about it with my 3 other homies or I'm talking about it by myself, I'm talking basketball. I've been doing it my whole life. So why make it more complicated than that? Same thing with music. That was my main focus when I told Flex I was going to manage him. Bro, I want to handle everything outside of creating music because as an artist, the only thing you're supposed to worry about is making the music. Simplified. He's a rapper. Rap. Rapper shouldn't be worried about his email, sending music to blogs, scheduling a studio session, well, what video man, and setting up how my video should be. If they can and are willing to do that, obviously that's cool too. But the more that they can focus on the music and just the music, that's what a musician does. You know what I'm saying? Like in today's time, it's so gimmicky that everybody want to do all of this other shit. Yo, he a rapper, but his TikTok booming. He's not a rapper. He's not a rapper then. He's a TikToker who can make a song. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, he funny on Instagram Live. Well, he's a fucking comedian who can make a song. He's not a rapper. We make product that's. You go to Colombia, there's gonna be some real good cocaine out there. You come to RichVision, what we making is the product is gonna be A1. And so I just simplify everything. That was what I took that time. I simplified everything. and made it not so complicated. Because when it's so complicated, that's when the stress comes and it's overwhelming and it's anxiety and you anxious and this, what am I going to do here? Simplify. I'm going to manage my brother. We're going to formulate something and we're going to create it. RichVision. I didn't sit there and think, I'm thinking of names. What we going to call this? It just dropped in my lap like epiphany. God did. Just threw it in my lap because I was just simplifying everything. Well, this is what I'm doing. What we going to call it? Cool. Now let's get it. And it was just that simple. I didn't have to really reinvent myself. I'm never really going to have to reinvent myself too much because like we talked about earlier, I'm really me. I'm really Pierre. And I pride myself on being that. And me and my mom recently, not to go off into something else, we be taking walks in the park when it's nice outside. And I told her, I'm like, Mom, I appreciate you because one thing I appreciate about my life is that I am who I am. And what I mean by that is if you came to my house or you went to my mom's house rather, and she showed you like, man, this is Pierre when he was little and just showing you me over the years, nothing changes. I didn't go through a phase of, oh man, Pete smoking weed all the time. That's never been me. Like I said, I don't have no tattoos for my gang banging phase where there ain't no phases. You're going to see basketball in the pictures. You're going to see me being goofy and you're going to see music. You know what I'm saying? And me being on some flash shit. You know, I got pictures when I was a kid with beepers and gold. I like flash shit, but it's consistent. Like you go on my Facebook and you look from pictures from 15 years ago in high school, the same shit. There ain't nothing. And like that's why I'm gonna never really too much have to reinvent myself too deeply.
Just redirect.
Really picking up the pieces and simplifying it so it wasn't overwhelming. But as far as everything else, you know, focusing and sacrificing.
The reason I thought reinvent was because of that redirection, right? Finding your way in life. Like you said, you didn't really have an identity. There's a quote I pulled. Hold on, let me pull that up. So the quote that I pulled was, I didn't have an identity in the world, so I didn't have an identity in rap. That's tough, man.
Who said that?
You said that.
When did I say that?
You said that in some interview, bro.
I guess at the time, I probably didn't feel like I had an identity. But I guess if I could guess my mental state at that time, I probably meant like an identity in the world of rap. But like as far as the identity in the world, I guess maybe that's accurate. Like, I'm not saying you. I'm saying maybe I was given an accurate depiction of how I felt at the time. Because I mean, as a teenager, you are still finding yourself and finding your identity. And at that time, we were fresh out of college. I mean, fresh out of high school. So we 18, 19. You know what I'm saying? And you are finding yourself in the world. But that's an interesting quote to hear from myself. There was definitely dark times.
I mean, just like you said, right? You said earlier that, you know, there was a time where I was rapping about guns, but that wasn't me. And I didn't even know myself. So I didn't really have that identity in rap.
Another thing I said was I was insecure with my pen. Because I know me. I don't have no fucking gun. I didn't have no fucking gun. I was 18 in my mama's basement. You think I had a fucking 4.5 on my hip? Hey, ma, you doing cooking bread? You cooking eggs, ma? Okay, let me put this back there. That wasn't my life. So... But the only reason that made me do that is because what I really wanted to rap about and how I really want. I'm a fan of, like, my favorite rap of all time is Nas. You know, I love J. Cole. That's my, you know what I'm saying? I love all rap, but like, you know, but I guess at that time I wasn't bold enough to be like, well, y'all rap about that and all the drill shit, and I'm gonna just confidently stand in this light of who I am. Which what I should have did. I'm a cool dude. I got bars. I'm on some Fab, Larry June shit. You know, I'm just getting money on some flash shit, saying some witty shit. That's always should have been my thing. But it's easier now with hindsight being 28 versus 18, 10-year gap. Maybe as an 18-year-old, maybe yeah. I definitely probably didn't have an identity. I definitely got one now though. You know what I'm saying? I'm a self-made man. You know what I mean? I got careers and different things. So yeah. It's interesting to think back because I know a lot of people relate. I talk to a lot of kids now who are fans of what we do, whether it's the podcast or Flex, and a lot of them feel the same way where they really don't know who they are fully. They probably have a sense of who they are or what they not into, but they still trying to find their way in a world of like, you know, how to. When I say monetize your interest, it's like what is a big enough interest for me to go and monetize something? You know what I mean? Even similar to what you were saying, you into music. A lot of people are into music, but a lot of people are saying, am I into music enough to make a job out of it? I don't know. I need to figure that out. You know, am I a lawyer? Am I a fucking teacher? You know, so I think that was mostly probably what I meant at the time. which I don't think there's no shame in for anybody that is feeling that way. But finding yourself and your identity is a big thing in life.
That's a conversation I have all the time where I'm like, man, if I didn't have my podcast, I don't know what the fuck I would be doing. So to see everybody else's life around me, it's like all they do is go to work. You know, people start having kids, they start having families. That's their focus. And that's great. But for me, that's not what I want right now. So I couldn't imagine my life without the podcast. It's like, once again, you have to find that passion. You have to find that thing for you, and it's going to be fulfilling for the rest of your life.
No, I agree, and I think that's probably a reason why I feel like I probably could have said that quote a little better, because I didn't have my direct identity, but I damn sure knew what I wanted for myself, and it wasn't some of the things you just said. I definitely didn't want to be out creating a family without the means to. I definitely had no interest in working long term for anybody. Me and him and a couple of other friends, when we first got out of high school, we went and worked temp jobs for like warehouses. And we was around people who that was their life. We were just kids trying to get some money to spend on a weekend, but some people were taking care of they livelihood with that. So for us, it's like we ain't finna do this shit. Even if I am working a 9 to 5, I'm not finna be doing no warehouse shit. You in here making the same amount as an 18-year-old and you 49 years old with 2 kids. And I ain't knocking no hustle, but I know then I wanted more for myself. You know what I'm saying? I had plenty of examples to say, I don't know where I'm going or how I'm going to take this, but I know where the fuck I'm not going. I'm not going down some of these other paths.
I want to ask this question before we move on. Having to leave behind basketball, having to leave behind rap, in the situations that you did leave them behind, right? Because you still have them in your life, just in a different aspect.
One thing that I will say, big misconception. Even now, I rap.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't release music. I write raps all the time, man. I got folders of beats. I got Gold Hayes that probably sent me 1 million beats since we've known each other. I just don't be putting the shit out because I have other focuses.
Mm-hmm.
But don't get it confused. I will, you know what I'm saying? If Flex called me right now, like, man, fuck it, P, let's do some shit again like we used to. Fuck it for the one time. I got a verse on me.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't nothing to pin no shit down. But I get what you mean, but I just want to let it be known, like, I ain't fully, I'm not pursuing it. It's fun. You know what I mean? It's like riding a bike. They say you never forget how to do it. Will never not know how to rap, especially because now I feel like this is the most confident I've been in myself of who I am as a person. So now if somebody asks me to rap, this is easy. I know who I am and I know what I'm not. So you'll never hear me talking about I got the 4.5 on my hip like when I was a teenager. You know what I'm saying? Now I can really pop my shit. Now if I'm rapping about Rolexes, it's real Rolexes I could go get.
Mm-hmm.
It's real cars that I'm pushing. It's real shit that we doing in life. You know what I'm saying? T, where we at? We in Miami in March. We really doing it. Ain't just like a facade. You know, you really sipping, bro, really pulling out top shelf tequila that I ain't never heard about.
I like that, bro.
That's the man. But it you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put that out there. But I get what you mean.
I get you. I mean, I assumed that was the case.
Yeah.
But I mean, shit, I haven't seen a drop since 2021, I think.
Yeah.
But having to leave it behind at that time, where did it place you mentally?
I was excited because I knew what was coming. You know, I think when you sat out on big aspirations, you kind of have to have a little bit of delusion. So regardless of what everybody else felt, when me and Flex sat down and made the decision, we knew where it was going. We didn't know how long it was going to take or anything, but we knew we was going to make it. So I was excited. Theoretically, yeah, I am leaving behind rap. But in my mind, I'm leaving behind rap and my man finna take over the game. So we good regardless. So I was excited. It wasn't really no thing where I'm like, oh, I guess I'll put down the pen and help. No, I was like, man, let's do this shit. We on. And that was just the beginning. Then over the years, we been Darian and Gold Hayes. And now I'm really Heavy But Light, Lena Bands, Campaign Camo, J Noir, Blessing, and even AJ77. We mean all these people. Juke Wong. And now I'm before I know, we got a whole team. And so now it was never like a down mental part. It was really excitement. And I was actually happy because it let me know like, oh, you know, like I can do this. I don't have to be the rapper. It took a lot of being a rapper is stressful.
Mm-hmm.
being a rapper is very, very, very stressful. That's why I be seeing people, they see what Flex got going on. They want to do that. It's like, man, you got to know what come with that. Me and Flex have had a lot of conversations about being in that role. It's a lot of pressure. It's been times I had to sit Flex down, like, a lot of, when you doing this shit, it's representing more than you. He's carrying all of us. You know what I'm saying? And theoretically, don't get it confused. We all grown men and we all gonna provide and do what we need to do. But he represented more than himself. That's a lot of pressure that I don't think people realize that happens. When you see a rapper flop, it's a lot of people behind that. You see a rapper make a fool of themselves, they go to jail. It's a lot of people that are affected by that. It's not, it looked like one person. Young Thug and what he going through right now, it's a lot of people affected by that. It's the same way. So I'm glad to be in the seat that I'm in. I'm blessed. And I was excited because now I knew this moment was coming. And as a brother, manager side, but a brother, to see your brother reach his goal and to become what he's becoming and how he's handled it, it's the most proudest thing. I don't have like a son or nothing, but I would imagine if my son went to the NBA or some shit or made his dream, it would be the same fulfillment. Not to compare Flex as my son and no shit, but like it's the real like I can't even put words into it. It's just a sense of like proudness at a beyond measure level, and I feel like that with all of my homies. That's what I was saying before. All my homies don't have to become rappers; they won't. But I'm seeing some of my homies, like from 7th grade, we used to run around do dumb shit, and now they're fathers. All of my homies are active fathers. There's not one of my homies that ain't an active father. Are they the best father? Could they be better? You can always be better. But all of them do they shit. To me, that's proud. When I see my homies and oh man, I seen my little homie Tang last night. Yeah, I'm getting Dior tomorrow. I'm getting my daughter tomorrow. Yeah, I probably ain't gonna come there because I'm with the kid. You know what I'm saying? I call T. Yeah, all my fault, bro. I came. My fault, man. I had to put the kid. The kid. That's the first thing I got. Kid. That's like, you know what I mean? That's proud because I see a lot of other people talking about other shit with their homies, and I don't have to experience some of those things. Some people burying their homies and wearing them on T-shirts. We out here really, really doing things that we set out to do. So I was proud.
What about on the basketball end? When you had to leave it behind playing wise?
That is something where you like, oh damn, you know what I'm saying? And my basketball journey ended on an injury. I tore a tendon in my ankle in my senior year of high school, and that was tough. That was probably one of the toughest moments of my life, but it was the biggest moment of my life. I fucked around a lot when it came to basketball. So when you hear me talk about certain words, sacrifice and commitment and things like that, I didn't do it then. So God allowed me to have a talent and a skill like basketball, God-given shit. Like you said, I'm tall as hell. Everybody don't get to be this tall. That's automatically God done gave me a little extra. Like, yeah, man, do something with it. And I didn't. And I remember being 18 years old, sitting in my graduation rehearsal. And I'm looking around like, bro, I'm never going to be in this bitch again. Like, I'm not going to be hooping in here no more. I'm not going to Duke or North Carolina. I'm not going to the NBA. And I told myself then, like, the next thing that I do, I ain't gonna fuck around. It's a lot of you motherfuckers. I'm looking around and be like, it's a lot of motherfuckers in here that I'm probably not even gonna talk to again in my life. But I was quick to hang out with y'all. I was quick to go to every party and not miss out instead of working on my game and putting in extra hours and chase my dream. I chased my dreams half-assed to kick it. So now, when I got my second chance, when I had my podcast and when the Flex shit came, oh, hell no. Work or hang out, fuck y'all, I'm going to work. Anytime. Still, I got PTSD. I don't want to miss it because I saw, and I'm so thankful for that, bro. I'm so thankful that happened. It was a down moment, like, man, hoop is on. But it led to just a bigger perspective that I think set me up for the rest of my life. I'm going to never take any opportunity or any blessing from God for granted again by FOMO or fear missing out or party and a kick. We was doing, come on, you've been in high school. The shit you do in high school, not even a big deal. That's the time to really say, I'll see y'all later. That's the time to not have FOMO. In high school, you're not even doing shit. You can't even really do shit. You know what I'm saying? What you doing? You going to somebody's basement to kick it? You 16, you taking a couple shots of vodka when you're not supposed to. We in this bitch litty. That's the time to be like, oh yeah, I ain't going. I'm going to go work on my game. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, now I'm just kind of locked in. I damn near kind of gotta force myself to get loose a little bit to be like, you can go chill, you can have fun.
So this is why you're not outside.
Yeah, I don't really be outside like that because it's just, to me, it's really no point. What am I doing? I don't really want to. The fuck am I? And I'm a homebody as well, though. I'm a homebody. I work hard for my shit. So I got a nice crib. I got a nice car. I got nice shit inside my crib. I'm not finna be outside all day. You know what I'm saying? Got TVs all over my crib. I got my office. I work hard for that. So I'm gonna be in that bitch using. I'm not saying it to flex, but it's just to show like that's the.
My bad, I don't mean to cut you off, but I could just imagine, right? You have to watch basketball all day, so
Yeah,
I'm sure,
yeah.
like, I could just imagine this place. Like, God,
That's a contradiction that we do in our culture. We go so hard to have shit, but then we outside all the time. The fuck is you working hard to have a mansion for, and you want to be in the streets every chance you can get? The fuck, like, really? What sense do that make? So, and don't shit be outside. Don't shit really be outside. The world is crazy right now. Not saying that I live in fear, but it's just, I'm committed to something, and I like being a person that ain't always out. I'm not easy accessible. When I go to like the Go Hayes event and people see like, oh man, my boy, I finally get to meet you. It's like a verse. It's like the girl that you see at the club every weekend. Oh, that's
you'll see her next week.
Yeah. But the girl that, whoosh, hey bro, who the fuck is that? Oh man. You feel like you got to get on that now because you're not gonna see her next week. But you're gonna see Liz or whatever the fuck we want to call her. We're gonna see her next week, man. She was here last week, she'll be here next week. But then there's that one that's like, I don't know if she don't look like she always out here. So and I don't know. I just believe that you are who you are. Your actions is who you are. You know what I'm saying? The people that I see and I admire and I take things, they're not easily accessible. They don't be everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm inspired by like the Nas's, the Jay-Z's, the Brons, the Kobe's. Them people ain't accessible. You can't just go out and see them. So I'm trying to get to that level.
I haven't met everybody in RichVision, but I get that same vibe from most of you, right? I mean, just before this, you guys were talking about books you were reading. I don't read books, bro. Like,
That's all we do. He got so many lists of books from. I bought a book he put me on months ago, and I haven't even really got halfway in because I got into another book that a lady at Barnes. That's what we do. Like, we into that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm more interested in that. I do sometimes wish that I was a little different because then when I saw you at Go Hayes thing, it was refreshing. Like, oh my man, what's going on? Sad boy, we in this bit. And it's like, man, that was the first time I met Asar. Been a fan of Asar. We've DM'd, talked on social media, but never met on face to face. And it's like, oh man, those are the parts where I'm like, I should do this a little bit more. But at the same time, I like being at the crib. I like being with my family. I'm family oriented. So, he was just telling me about some shit we could do. We could, sip some tequila, play some Monopoly. I'd rather do that with him than to go to the next city event. But I need a balance because I definitely want to be around my people and around my city and showing love because I do got a lot of love for people that's going on, that's doing their thing. And there's no love like the in person. So when I was able to meet somebody like Asar and tell him like, bro, I don't love your project. I don't like your project. I love it. Like, you are doing your thing, brother. Like, keep going on. We support that wholeheartedly. I love giving people their flowers in person. So that part of me, baby, want to go out and be a little bit more, but I'm just not an outside person.
That was one of those events you had to be at. Like, everybody was in there.
That was also my shit too.
Yeah.
Like, Go Hayes project says RichVision presents.
Yeah.
So imagine me not being there. That would just been silly. And I think the last one he had, I wasn't there because I had some shit to do with the podcast, I believe. But no, that'd be good to be around the city and around the, this is my home.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely got to be around my people. We all like family. We all like cousins and family. We all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
So might as well embrace it. But yeah, it ain't nothing deep. I'm just not I'm a chill dude. I like to read books and watch basketball and play 2K and you know what I'm saying?
Chill, bro.
Watch movies.
Chill, bro.
Chill. I be having to make sure I really, really get my point across and highlight the people I need to highlight. So many people in RichVision. So many people that help with life, mom, dad, siblings.
Blessing's not RichVision anymore, right? How come?
I think at the time when he was RichVision, I think he needed a little bit more from us, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I think obviously he got what he needed. But it ain't no it wasn't no beef or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes it just like the focus was so much on Flex that I think he needed a little bit more. So that was pretty much it.
Is that how he ended up with Yachty?
I don't know how he ended up with Yachty.
That's crazy though.
To be honest with you, because after RichVision, he definitely wasn't with Yachty. So I don't know how that ended up happening, but I didn't think I said Yachty's name, and I should have said her name when I talked about RichVision. But yeah, I don't know how he got linked up with Yachty, but I'm glad he did because Yachty know what the fuck she doing, and we got much love for Yachty, and she's helped out a lot. But yeah, that's still ain't no beef. That's still bro. We grew up with Blessing. A lot of we grew up Blessing, so it ain't no, you know.
So, you know, we talked about RichVision, we talked about the music, we talked about basketball, but we haven't really talked about what you got into for basketball after you stopped playing, right? Through the Wire. Talk about the creation of it.
So my cousin Kenny, he's a YouTuber, and that's my younger cousin, and him and his friend group, they that was my little homies. So I used to hoop with them and contact them a little bit. I was in a group chat. And every once in a while, we would talk about basketball, have a little debate or something. And at the time, I was big on podcasting. It was new. Joe Budden, before the Joe Budden podcast that you see now, even before Rory and Maul, it was like, I'll name this podcast later. Wasn't even the Joe Budden podcast yet. And Adam 22 had first did no jumper. This is before Adam 22 was who he is now. This is when he was interviewing like real low-key rappers. And this is like 2016, maybe 2015. I can't remember, but years ago. This is like before podcast. Everybody was still trying to be a vlogger. So I remember I tweeted like, I'm gonna jump into the podcast vlog lane. And shortly after that, we had a little basketball conversation. I said, man, we should start a podcast. It was like, yeah, we should, blah, 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 blah. But we ain't really do it. Then we had another conversation again or something. I said, man, we should start a podcast. Yeah, man, we should. I don't really think we followed through. And then I think I said it one last time after another debate or something. And we was like, fuck it, let's do it. We're going to do it right now. And then my cousin, he took the initiative to go out and get all the equipment we needed and microphones. And we came up with the name Through the Wire based off the Kanye song because Joe Budden and Academics was doing something at the time called Everyday Struggle. And that's named after a Biggie song. So I'm like, we should make our basketball podcast named after a rap song. Just, you know, kind of stealing the style, and Through the Wire came about, and it was perfect because it's Kanye, Chicago, and everything, and the rest is history, to be honest with you.
What do you think it was that pushed you in this direction?
Besides God, basketball. The fact that it was just something that I had a love for. I'm interested in talking and doing what I know. I never want to be at the car shop talking about what to do to this engine. That's not my fit. I don't know anything about cars. I'm comfortable speaking about what I know. So the fact that it was something that I knew, it was something that I was interested in, and I had a passion for. That's what pushed me there. Just my interest and my passion for it.
What do you think you learned about yourself through podcasting that you weren't able to find in yourself through just playing basketball or even pursuing music?
I have a way of connecting with people way better than I ever thought I did. And I just found that out on when we were doing the tour. See, the silly thing about us is we be thinking we know shit. Humans, we don't really be knowing the half of it. And I was so caught up in what we was doing that I'm thinking that people love me for my basketball opinions. But they really just love the person and how I can connect with people and how I, you know, make them gravitate towards me. So when I met a lot of the people and they had a lot of stories, they want to take pictures, they want autographs. Man, y'all got me through the pressure, you know, whatever. Like people saying deep things. That's when it clicked me like, this is way deeper than basketball. Here I am thinking that this shit was about basketball. The last thing y'all care about is basketball. Basketball got y'all here, but y'all here for the community, for the love, the guidance, the realness, the genuineness, and to be able to connect with people like that through a screen, I think is unique. And I think it comes from being authentic and being real and being able to convey feelings with words and through a screen. Because feelings and emotion can be conveyed in this room because we all here, we can feel, touch, but to do it through a camera, it's like music. I love music and connected with music because when I heard rappers like Nas say things and it gave me goosebumps, you ever had that feeling when somebody say something, you're like, damn.
That shit hit.
That shit, whew, that make me feel a way. It's like that's a powerful thing to do with words. You don't even the person or the rapper that probably made you feel that you never met, maybe never will.
Mm-hmm.
As crazy it is to think about, and they made you feel like that. That's crazy. So to know that I'm able to do that for others from a podcast standpoint is one of the most empowering and beautiful things in the world to me that I would never take for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of kids out there that are gravitating to hold on to something and are looking for genuine love, care, and friendship. It's a lot of people in the world that just don't have friends. I met a lot of kids that's just like, man, y'all feel like my friends because I don't have none.
Mm-hmm.
And here it is. I'm rich with friendships. I can't look around too far and not see one of my friends. Me and him, I can trip in my driveway and hit my head on his front door. We that close. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. It should just it means so much. And that's what I learned. Just how much I can connect with people, how much I can mean to people, how much I can convey something that people just like what I say mean a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I be seeing that positive ways and negative ways. I'll say some shit and that's my fault. It ain't their fault. I'll say some shit about somebody's team and it'll fuck up their whole week. And I'm enemy number one. And I'm like, man, why the fuck you so mad? Then I'll think about like, I'm the one with the big voice. Duh, of course he took what I said. What I say means everything. You know what I'm saying? Not to hype myself up, but just in a basketball sense. To them, my word is that they used to say back in the day, word is bond.
It's like any professional, right? A music critic. You
Right.
take a music critic's opinion and you're like, oh, well, that album sucks, so now I'm not going to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I get what you mean because I've had people come up to me and they're like, man, when I watch your shit, it's like I'm at the table. And I'm like, bro, you don't even think about that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think like, oh, I'm trying to, well, my bad. I have thought about that. That was, that was the idea behind it. It was to,
From that point, I get you.
It was to
for
make sure that people felt like it was relatable and that it was just a regular conversation. Like this interview, right? It's not just me sitting here and hitting you with 50 questions to try to figure something out about you. It's I know shit about you. I'm gonna ask you questions that's gonna lead to another question, but it's a conversation. We're just here chopping it up about your journey, bro, in general. But going back to that, right? I've had people that tell me like, man, it feels like I'm at the table with you. If I genuinely like, I'm into the conversation, and you don't realize that impact. You don't even think that that's a real thing.
Cause you so caught up in the other shit, and that's what I was getting at. Like we so focused on making sure the questions is right, or the camera angles and the voice and the mixing, but it's like these people be here for a whole different thing that our minds ain't even there yet, and it take a lot for us to be like, oh, you here for a whole different experience. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody gonna click on this interview and watch it. They not clicking this shit because I'm the most important person in the world, but it's just something else that they can get that me and you, we ain't even thinking about at this time. So that's the beauty of it.
And for you, your next chapter, man, is something we haven't touched on. Big news for you, man. Go ahead and tell the people.
After, I believe it was like 4 or 5 years with House of Highlights and Bleacher Report and Warner Media, my fam, yeah, me and my podcast, we signed with OMAHA, which is Peyton Manning's production company, which is in the family, like the ESPN family. I have to use those names and titles to dumb it down for people because this sports media word can get so like even with Warner Media, I always use like TNT or Bleacher Report just as the main. But yeah, OMAHA. So another surreal thing, another surreal situation to be in. To go from Through the Wire, and to close that chapter and to go into something new with OMAHA as, numbers on the board. That's what we're gonna call ourselves.
Oh,
now.
it's gonna be a whole new thing.
New name, new set, new look. Everything's going up. Beautiful moment. Obviously bittersweet to close a chapter on something that's been a part of your life for so long. These last, like I said, however many years, but to hit that new level and to open up a new door and a new chapter is super exciting. It's super exciting. To level up, it comes with new expectations, new goals, new aspirations. And like I said before in the interview, you take care of one thing and you get the confidence that you can do it again. So now here we go. reinventing ourselves. I'm gonna take a word out of your book, and ready to take on that challenge. You know, you go from being, you make the NBA, and you just want to be a starter. Then you become a starter, and you want to be the best player on the team. You go from being the best player of the team to be an all-star. And once you're an all-star, you want to be all NBA. Then you want to be a MVP. And we that's how we doing it. Gradually just getting bigger and better. And it's a blessing. Peyton Manning, that's such a big name in the sports world. And to be able to say that we with him, he co-signed it. He rocking with us. You know what I mean? And to be able to meet him and chop it up and see him know all of us on a first name basis and be familiar with what we do and be invested, it's a beautiful feeling.
Big congratulations to you and your team, bro.
I appreciate that. It's been tough keeping it a secret, but yeah, man, it's a wonderful moment and beautiful journey.
What motivated the move? Because I know that, like we were talking about earlier, Warner Media, that was like family to you.
I think it's a lot of different things. I think when you talked about reinventing yourself, I think what comes with reinventing yourself is wanting that challenge, wanting to say there's another level that we can get to, not being complacent. And I think that was the biggest thing that we wanted to do. We wanted to take it to the next level. We think we are the best basketball podcast in the world. And we're not just gonna say that and stay complacent. We're gonna say that and put some action behind it. So our actions to go into a new situation and what we think can give us the proper support and resources to hit those levels and goals. And that's pretty much it. And also other aspirations. You know what I mean? New situations, new way of thinking business wise to open up more doors. You know what I mean? We want to do more than just the normal type of podcasting. I'm a guy that can do a lot of different things. Kenny can do a lot of different things. Derek has done a lot of different things with his food channel. Mike has done his streams. So we don't want to be put in a box. We want to have our wings be able to be. we want our wings to be able to spread and have more opportunity and just grow bigger and as individuals in a group. And I think we felt that this was the best move for us to do that.
So what are you hoping to gain from this new chapter?
I'm hoping to reach those new levels. I'm hoping to be somebody that's a household name in the sports media world, not just the basketball sports media, but when you turn on your TV or you turn on your phone and you see names every day, you see the same sports figures every day. I want us to be some of those names and faces that you see. I don't know how much you into sports, but I know you know who Stephen A. Smith is. I'm sure you know who Shannon Sharp is. You know who Skip Bayless is. You know these names. I want you to, and everybody else, to know our names and faces as well. And it starts with leveling up, and this is the next level.
Is it going to be strictly streaming, or you guys are going to be on ESPN?
Who knows? I guess only time will tell.
Facts.
I guess only time will tell.
You guys had a lawyer for this negotiation this time?
What you mean?
One of your old interviews, bro, you said this was the last contract you were going to negotiate by yourself. You're getting a lawyer for the next one.
Oh, I did say that. Yes and no. Yeah, some of it was me, but because it is a team thing, we definitely had a full team of representation helping guide us through this. This is such a big move because there's so many moving pieces. I'm one contract. It's four of us. So what I want and what I need is one thing, and what he needs may be different than mine. So as an individual, yeah, but we definitely had a full team, throughout this process. So shout out to everybody that was involved on both sides. I'm very ecstatic, and excited, man. This is a beautiful moment to be in. This is like feel like a NBA player when they're in free agency and they go, when Kevin Durant signed with the Warriors. It's like, man, you know what I'm saying? Or, when I don't know, when LeBron went back to Cleveland or whatever, that move of when LeBron went to Miami. It's just you're ready because it's that moment, it's that stage, and this is everything that you've ever worked for. So now we're here, and the only thing you can do is go up. Just got to come with it.
It's what everybody would dream of, in the sports media world. Mm-hmm. ESPN.
Shout out to the OMAHA family. Shout out to Peyton Manning. Shout out to Jamie Horowitz. Shout out to Kenny, Derek, Mike, Cody, and Cole. Shout out to my boy Austin, who was helping us through the wire. Shout out to Anwar. Shout out to my family at Bleacher Report, House of Highlights, Saw Love or whatever. But, close one chapter, open up a new one, just like a book.
And that's your whole life, man. Closing chapters, opening up new ones, closing, opening. So I'm glad to see you make it this far to, where you want to be. My last question for you. It's not really a question, but it's a quote. Said, I used to be focused on me and having the flyest clothes. Now I'm focused on building a future, buying a house, having a kid, etc. Where are you in that now?
I think for the rest of my life, I'm going to be like that. The main thing in that quote is just saying, like, it's bigger than me. So I think for now, for the rest of my life, now that I'm at the point that I'm at, that's always going to be my thing. Even now with the new chapter with the podcast and everything, it's like, before, probably with the first stages ever contractually, I'm like, man, I got to make sure I'm getting mines. But now it's like, no, I got to make sure my homies got what they need too. Because we want to be in a situation where everybody got what they need. And I'm looking at that from a music aspect, the podcast and life. You know what I mean? Before I make a big purchase, I'm thinking about my parents. I remember one of the deals I did, I got a cut from. And I had a lot of different plans of what I was finna do with this money. And I'm like, man, I can't do something like that. So I remember I split it up and gave it to my parents. And they was both like, very emotional and proud and just they felt good. But like that's where my mind is at. Like, it's no more just about being fly. I'm always be fly. That's just in my DNA. That's just not going nowhere. But it's not the priority.
What did it take you to get to that point?
Tasting a little bit of it. And that was the point about what I said earlier about the journey. You get to the finish line and you realize that like the finish line ain't even what you thought it was gonna be. So you work hard to get shit. Like for example, we come from environments and places where we wasn't fortunate enough to probably have the Jordans that we wanted growing up, right? So a lot of times what we do is we overcompensate. So it's like not only am I gonna get the Jordans I wanted, but I'm gonna get every fucking pair of Jordans too. And then you get that and you realize like that shit is cool for a moment, but the real fulfillment is making sure everybody else is good, providing for others, making sure that your kids are straight, making sure that your nieces and nephews and your homies is good, and your little sisters is cool, and if anybody ever have a rainy day, I'm somebody that they can come to for an umbrella type protection, and I can help, and that's all. I think every man, every human, but damn sure every man should want to be in that position to where you can help.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a problem that my family can face, and I can't help.
Do you think that's the biggest change you've seen in yourself from the very beginning to where you are now?
That's one of them. That's a big change, and another big change is just fear. Not really being afraid of anything. I'm not afraid to fail. I'm more afraid of not. Kanye had a line like that. Now that I was just about to say it, he said, "Giving up is way harder than trying." Or giving up is way harder than not trying. Something like that. I think giving up way harder than trying. Something like that. And I feel that. I felt that. And I used to, everybody, we have certain fears of like, what if this don't go this way? I'm sure you felt that as a podcaster. What if this don't? I ain't really scared of that shit no more. I'm scared of not doing it, not trying it, and then living a life that I'm laying in the bed or in my 70s. Like, man, I should have did this when I was 24. We just doing it.
The worst thing that can happen is you didn't do what you wanted to do. Just like the worst thing you can hear is no.
The worst thing you can hear is no.
I appreciate you coming through, bro.
Always.
I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I enjoyed it myself.
Definitely.
Shit. Make sure you guys go ahead, check out. I don't want to fuck up your name. It's Pierre Andresen, right?
Right on the money.
There you go.
Pierre,
right.
Peeweedaplug, Andresen, Peeweedaplug on all social media. We gonna have some people in here. I'm gonna make sure I get some more RichVision people in here when it's time for them to be up here. And we're gonna get some other guys. I gotta get Kenny on here from Through the Wire. That's a big guy that gotta get on here. He would like this.
I appreciate it, bro. I mean, we connected through Flex and shit, we're able to keep it going. And we're gonna stay locked in, bro.
Always, bro.
Make sure you guys go ahead, check out Through the Wire. What's the new one called?
Numbers on the Board.
Make sure you go ahead and check out numbers
By
on
the
the
time
board.
they see this, it's gonna be what, like, it's gonna be like December 23rd, December 24th. It's December. Yeah. There'll be numbers on the board. That's crazy.
Bro, 2 weeks, bro. 2 weeks. Not too far. Sad boys for real. Peace out.
This is Sad Boy Radio.
Broken pieces, who's to blame?